Thank you. Good morning to all the judges and everyone in the audience. I would like to thank AIOC Scientific Committee for providing me this opportunity. I am Dr. Nilesh Kumar, here to present my work on correlation of posterior coronal curvature changes with residual MRSC post-SMILE. This is free paper 227. SMILE has been proven to have better coronal biomechanics with more predictability, improved visual outcomes, and faster recovery times. OrbScan 2Z, which combines scanning slit imaging with Placido disc to perform corneal tomography, assumes a fixed refractive index of the cornea and aqueous to convert the posterior corneal curvature to diopters. Kim et al. Have reported a forward shifting of the posterior corneal curvature using OrbScan 2Z, and such changes have been previously unaccounted for during the calculation of target emetropia. The evidence, though, is suggestive of misevaluation of posterior corneal surface in post-refractive surgery cornea using OrbScan 2Z. Though, I would like to quote this study where they compared OrbScan and Pentacam with clinical history method, which says this study cannot determine if the Pentacam is underestimating the posterior wall or if the OrbScan is overestimating this height, and further studies with a standardized test object are needed. Martin et al. In his work in IGO also conclude the accuracy of OrbScan 2 when measuring posterior surface after LASIK is controversial. Nevertheless, this measurement is useful in follow-up of post-LASIK patient. So we have a good research question. Does any change occur in posterior surface in cornea in eyes undergoing SMILE for correction of mild, moderate, and high degree of myopia? And is there any correlation between such changes and residual MRSC? So we designed a prospective single-center interventional comparative study, which was conducted from January 2019 to December 2019 at a tertiary level hospital in South India at 95% power. The sample size was 225 eyes. ISC approval was obtained and study adhered to the Declaration of Helsinki, and written and informed consent was obtained from all the participants. We included patients more than 22 years of age with a stable refractive error of -10 diopter with BCV of 0.0 and central corneal thickness more than 480 microns, and divided them into mild, that is less than -3 diopter of myopia, moderate, that is -3 to -6 diopter of myopia, and high, that is more than -6 diopter of myopia. Topography was done using OrbScan 2Z, and patient underwent standard SMILE procedure and were followed up at 1 week, 1 month, and 3 months. The primary outcome measures were uncorrected and best corrected visual acuity, objective and subjective refraction, and posterior keratometry value in central 5 mm zone, which were obtained by averaging out the values in that area. Stats analysis was done using IBM, SPSS, and the normalcy of data was tested with ANOVA analysis. Student pair t-test was used to compare the changes between preoperative and postoperative values, and the correlation was evaluated with Pearson correlation coefficient test. A p-value of less than 0.05 was considered clinically significant. 248 eyes of 124 patients were analyzed, with 107 eyes having mild, 72 with moderate, and 69 with high myopia. The baseline characteristics were similar except for uncorrected visual acuity and MRSC. The posterior corneal curvature became significantly elevated in all degrees of myopia postoperatively 1 week and remained stable till 3 months of follow-up. The posterior corneal curvature changes measured with OrbScan 2Z correlated positively and significantly with residual MRSC in mild myopia, while it was not significant, but positive in moderate and high myopia. OrbScan 2Z, which utilizes Placido disc in conjunction with scanning slit topography, has been proven to estimate the corneal power as good as Pentacam and Galilei system. The values from these machines can't be used interchangeably. So there is a need to evaluate the changes in various topographic indices provided by OrbScan 2Z on the outcomes in myopia. Residual MRSC in our study was within ±0.5 diopter in 91% patient in mild, 90% patient in moderate, and 81% in high degree of myopia. Seeds et al. And Wong et al. Have found a significant increase in the negative dioptric power of posterior corneal surface in patients who underwent LASIK. Yu et al. Have demonstrated that the change in posterior corneal elevation was significantly higher in SMILE compared to femtosecond LASIK at 3 months. The present study reports a significant increase in negative dioptric power at 1 week post-op, which remained stable till 3 months of post-SMILE. A significant correlation was also found between the changes and residual MRSC in mild degree of myopia, while the correlation was positive but not significant in moderate and high degree of myopia. The thickness of lenticule removed is directly related to MRSC. This may have an impact on the corneal biomechanics with probably a different nature of curvature change in mild to moderate and high myopia compared to mild degree of myopia. The changes in posterior corneal power are not accounted for in the target emetropia calculation and may have an impact on the residual refractive error. The shorter duration of follow-up was insufficient to predict the changes in a long course of time. And the study also considered MRSC and not attributing separately. These were the two limitations of this study, and we conclude that there is a positive significant correlation between the residual MRSC and increase in negative dioptric power, which may have an impact on the calculation for target emmetropia, and the correction factor may be required to be introduced specific to each topographers. I thank you everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for your nice presentation.
I'll just,
Yeah.
yes.
Questions, please.
Yes.
Do you think we should make adjustment for negative higher correction which we are getting? I mean, for posterior corneal surface.
Pardon, sir.
Or it should be done in high myopia only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The corrections are needed for high myopia, sir, but the study was not designed to give an specific value for each degree of myopia, sir. So probably in the current next studies.
What is the long-term effect? Is get adjusted or it remains stable as such?
So long term, sir, we think that it has been stable because in the longer follow-up, we didn't perform topography, but the patients were having the similar kind of refractive outcomes. Like the refractive error remained stable till 1 year.
Rajan?
Nilesh,
Yes, sir.
hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. As a nice presentation. Is
Thank
there is any relation in the residual cornea and the amount of change in the posterior corneal curvature?
Yes, sir. The amount of thickness that is we are removing.
Residual cornea. That
Yes, sir. So we have not calculated the correlation between the thickness of lenticle that is removed and the residual bed and the residual refractive error. But going by the posterior corneal curvature change, we think that there has been some degree of difference change of curvature in mild and moderate myopia. So there is a different change that is occurring. So it might depend on the residual bed thickness, sir.
definitely it is a nice thing to adjust, because this once the residual thickness is reduced in the center, probably the intraocular pressure might be having some effect on the. So that
Yes.
may be a natural course of the change in the which is not assessed till now.
Yes, sir. So that's what, sir. We aim to have a big pool of data, and we might perform a regression analysis later to adjust the changes.